All right, I am here at the basement theatre. I guess you'd call this the green room, right?
Green room / dressing room. Yeah. Yeah. Green room.
And I am here with Romy Hooper.
Hello.
Long time no see. How have you been?
Good. Good. Very good. Very busy, but good. How about you?
Yep, same.
Good.
So, you're in this new play, which has been going on for how many days now?
We opened on Tuesday, so we've been going. This is our fourth night, and tomorrow is our final day. So we have 2 shows tomorrow, and then on Monday we're taking it on the road up north to Whangarei, and then Kirikiri, and then Kaitaia.
Nice. So it's called deVINE. So what can you tell us about it?
Well, basically we went up north sort of for 2 or 3 kind of research excursions to be able to interview people and talk to them and listen to their stories, based on our theme, which is to create work that carries messages of hope and uplifts communities that are suffering in mental distress and sort of situations like that. So what we deduced was well, we came away with a lot of stories, and also with our own personal kind of stories as well, and our own personal experiences in that realm. But what we kind of uncovered pretty quickly was that if we're going to say something, hopefully, that's going to be universal in its tone when it comes to a message, then we kind of need to set it in a universally understood and relatable framework. So we landed on a family, because everybody knows what having a family is like generally, and the kind of dynamics that go on with that, the sort of power struggles and the kind of the distances that can be created when family don't get along, you know, the kind of isolation that happens in that. So our family are called the deVINEs, and they are the proud owners of a vineyard set up north. The vineyard's gone to seed, though. Basically, sort of main members of the family were unable to continue to hold the mantle of being the matriarch or patriarch or whatever, so it kind of fell on the children to try and keep it going. Nonetheless, the thing failed. So what's happened in our story is that the family have all kind of come back after a highly tense and inciting incident, and you can see the show to find out what that is. They all have to come back and figure out what to do with the land, the rest of their family, with, you know, with each other pretty much. So the story is basically just about a bunch of normal people, but thrust into circumstances that are highly extraordinary and highly stressful. So we can kind of expose how normal it is for people to suffer from bouts of like the blues or anything like that, you know. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Nice. So it's a cast of 3, right?
Yeah.
Playing a whole lot of different characters.
Yeah. So in our family we've got 7 characters, I think now. Yeah. We started off with about 12, but then we were just we realised that having too many cooks in the kitchen wasn't going to get our message across really clearly. So, and with everyone just kind of yelling at each other, 12 family members. So we've cut it back to, we've got the story centres around Bobby and Blair, who is myself, and Sienna Elise White, who's currently in 800 Words and things, and Esme Myers, who is our mother, essentially. Yes, so she kind of exists in a sort of different kind of time zone, you know. She kind of connects us to the world that has been, how wonderful life was like before these sort of inciting incidents that went down happened. And Bobby and Blair kind of exist in the real, like, the present now kind of time. And so they're sort of reflecting on what it is like now versus the kind of rosy-hued version of what the matriarch of the family kind of thinks everything was like. And then we've also got their children. So we've got Micah, who is our Bobby and Blair have a brother who is no longer with us in the story. So he had a son, and Blair has taken on the role of taking care of him and raising him. Pardon me. And his name is Micah. And he's kind of the one that the majority of our Northland audience or community members, I think, who have seen it thus far anyway, he's the one that they relate to the most. He's kind of the one that struggles to have a sense of belonging, doesn't really know, doesn't really have much of a connection to who he is, what he's about, what he wants to do, you know, so he's kind of just acting up and a little bit of a rebel. And then we have the other two children who are kind of farm kids. So there's Esther, who's 10, and that's also played by Esme, and Jimbo, who's a 12-year-old boy who's played by myself. So yes, there's quite a lot that goes on, and there's obviously there's constant reference to a lot of the characters who were really instrumental in the makeup of these people but are no longer with us. So hopefully through the mention of that we can highlight how important or how sort of glue-like those people were, so that we can really resonate with what life is like for them without those people there, you know. So you can sort of get a little bit of an insight into loneliness and isolation that happens just normally through generations passing on and all that kind of thing. So yes. So
what's it like playing a boy?
So much fun. I just wish that I was a 12-year-old boy. It is so much fun. It's I mean, I think it'd be way harder if I was having to play, like, I don't know, I suppose a 22-year-old boy or something like that. You know what I mean? Because that'd just be, I mean, there's just so much more nuance, and it's trickier, you know. But when you're playing a kid, for a start, a kid is so liberating, and a kid is so free, and a kid has so much license to be really profound without even realizing it. You know what I mean? Like, the sorts of things that you can get away with having kids say in a play or in a film or anything, you can just hit nails on heads in ways that grown-ups can't, you know what I mean? So they're super fun to play vocally and super fun to play physically. Jimbo's kind of like, he's got this big rainbow-coloured football, and he kind of just takes it everywhere with him, and he loves it like this little dog, you know? It's just so much fun. And also, I mean, all of us have picked someone from either our lives or that we've witnessed at a bus stop or something like that to really properly map these characters on. So they're all kind of mishmash, physically, vocally, everything. Mishmashes of some of the people that we met up there and people that we have in our own lives to be able to draw from, you know. Sian's playing Micah, and like there's so much parallel between Micah, the character, and her cousin, for example, you know, like, just if you have a really clear person to be able to map your character on, it's really easy, you know, whereas if you're just kind of creating from the idea of it, then I don't know, I think it'd be way harder to come across as authentic, you know. But no, it's great fun, and we're all sweating by the end of it, which is good too. We're like, yay, workout through a show. It's only about an hour long, but as soon as we start, because we're playing all the characters, you're never off stage. Like, I mean, you know, you're always passing the buck between either a young boy and a middle-aged woman, or a, you know, which scene's coming up next, or who you're supposed to be. I think there was like one point in early dress rehearsals and stuff where I was meant to walk on as Bobby and meet Blair for a discussion, and I came on as Jimbo, and I was standing there like opposite this grown-up woman, and it was just hilarious. So yeah, it's good. It's a good test of mental endurance as well. Definitely.
So it's directed by Morgana O'Reilly, and this is her debut as a director. What's she like?
Yeah, well, I definitely know that she's had her hand in directing a lot of stuff before, but in terms of, like, I mean, the main reason why we shoulder tapped her was because of her solo show, The Height of the Eiffel Tower, where she plays 7 characters. So we knew that we really needed someone, that was going to have a kind of heart for the work that we were wanting to do and for what Recollective as a theatre company is hoping to achieve over its sort of 10-year vision. So there had to be someone that understood why we were doing it and who we were doing it for, and had to be someone that was able to be really athletic and vigilant with us with our character changes, you know, like, I mean, we can kind of do them well, but unless you've got a mirror in your rehearsal room, or you've got a really good outside eye like Morgana to be able to tell you how you can achieve character changes super quick with super efficiency, and just really technically map your way through a show so that you can make sure that you hit all the points and that everything works and stuff like that. yeah, you really need someone who's a total pro at that, and she's always had a natural aptitude for that kind of thing, ever since she was first at Unitech years ago. So it was kind of like a natural progression, you know. And Sian and her lived together in Sydney as well for a while too. So it was kind of like, who can we call on that, you know, that we already kind of know has an affiliation with what we're wanting to do, you know, like we're all friends with Morgana, and it's like, hey man, we really want to employ you. Like, you know, I think that's kind of the goal for most of us, and for our theatre company particularly will be to, I mean, we'll do this inaugural year and potentially even next year as well, but the intention is to be able to then hire our mates, you know. There's a lot of people graduating every year from drama school and there's not a lot of work. So it'll be good to be in a position to be able to kind of give, you know, new practitioners an opportunity to have a contract at the beginning of the year once they've graduated, and actually have a really good go at developing a voice for themselves, as you do with devised theatre, you know. It's a real challenge of a beast to try and make your own show from your own work and your own research and your own stories, but I think if we can gift that opportunity to some new emerging kind of pros, then it'll set them up, you know, and also get them some exposure at Basement as well. We've all been performing here for years, but for a lot of other people coming through, it's quite daunting, you know, they never have. So there's that side of it as well. Oh, hey, here's Sian. She's just had her hair done. I'm just doing a little interview for Tylor TV. We're probably due to be warming up and things though now, as you can see. Cast member.
So you're probably best known for being in Nothing Trivial, which is on camera. So is there a different way that you act on camera to in theatre?
I think the first stop is to make sure that whatever you're doing is truthful and authentic. Definitely it's very different. I mean, I'd never be cast as a 12-year-old boy in TV necessarily. I won't say that I won't ever, because next minute, there you go, and I'm cast as a 12-year-old boy. And in terms of style as well, I mean, our piece, to be able to get away with playing people like that, it's highly stylized, it's very theatrical, it's sometimes bordering into farcical, but you can get away with that with theatre, you know. In screen, sure, things are pared back in terms of the largesse of what you're doing, but the intensity is just as draining. You know what I mean? Like, you're still emitting the same amount of energy. So after a full shoot day, you still feel like you've run a marathon just as much as you would have if you were in a show, you know? So, yeah, I think that's an interesting question, because I think everybody assumes theatre is big and film is small, but there are a lot of really big performances in screen, like Willy Wonka and whatnot, for example, you know, that really work. Hello, Ez. And third company member. I think that might need to be us then. I think that might need to be how much time I have to be able to do any more, if that's all right, just because we're going to have to probably set up and get warming up and things like that.
Yep. All right.
Yes.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Tylor and Luke.
Woohoo!